these kids are special. We just seen Ja last night. We see Zion tonight. Those guys are special, man, and he put on another great performance.
You can't teach his athleticism, his explosiveness, and his knack for getting to the ball around the rim. He's working on his jumper. You see he hit a little fadeaway in the middle of the paint. He's hit threes here and there. If he gets that down, he'll be serious. But he already is a problem. But he starts hitting jump shots. So the sky's, was it the ceiling is the roof or something? Is that what Mike said?
See, Danny Green, the ceiling is the roof. Look, especially when he's barreling to the basket, right? I pointed out earlier, he treated Kyle Kuzma like a speed bump. Right. Is Zion unguardable at that certainly specifically?
I think he is, and the reason is a part of what you said. He uses his power as strength. He's not just barreling through guys. He's not getting a lot of charges. I mean, he knows when to put it on you, and he knows when to be nimble. And that, to me, that kind of body control is an indication of a guy who's at a higher level than a lot of other players at his stage of his NBA career. That play right there is an example of it. He just goes up through you. He doesn't need the foul. He just needs to get to the bucket, and he can still finish without making it look like you've got to fly into the stands.
No, it's leverage, right?
Yeah.
It's not just power, it's leverage.
Yeah, he's not unguardable, and I say that with all due respect. You just can't let him catch the ball anywhere near the paint.
Right.
You have to get him outside the paint, as far out as you can get him. Because if he catches it out near the three-point range, then you can maybe dare him to take a mid-range. And it's not that he's not good at that. It's just he's so good at dunking and so good when he gets in the paint. The problem that the rest of the league has with Zion is that Lonzo Ball is so good at getting him the ball exactly where he needs it to get. And just watching that game last night, that's the Lonzo Ball that I thought I was going to see in the NBA. Like, pushing the pace the way he does, finding guys exactly where they want the ball, exactly where they need to be. Like, that's that basketball IQ that we all thought was gonna change the Lakers. Now it's changing the Pelicans.
Like another example about fit, right? We talk about it all the time, that for the top 5% of the players in the league, they're gonna play great anywhere. Bottom 5% of the players in the league, they're not going to be very good no matter where you put them. But really, for like the middle, 85, 90% of the league, it is about what position are you in with other players in a particular franchise with a particular coach. And Lonzo's fit with this group has been so much better. So it is fun to watch. I would say that in that little area, don't try to
just get out the way.
His way. You have plenty of chances to see Zion over the next 10 days. 3 of his next 5 games are on ESPN, including the one I mentioned before, Dallas on Wednesday. He's at the Heat on Friday, Sacramento on March 11th. The Clippers dropping 136 points on the Sixers yesterday. This offseason, when they added Kawhi and PG to the best defenders in the NBA, we all assumed the Clippers would be a defensive force. But Ramona, you were at this game yesterday. Are the offense, is it actually humming a little bit better than the defense right now?
That's some nice spin. That's a good spin when you give up that many points to the 76ers who are missing their 2 best players.
Right.
Okay, I mean, look, yeah, they scored a lot of points, but you should score a lot of points on a team that's missing Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, who are not just the best players on that team, but 2 of the best defensive players in the NBA. So, yeah, they should be scoring like that. But, look, if the Clippers are going to win this year, their defense needs to be their identity. So I'm glad that they feel good about their offense, but that's not how they're going to win a championship.
I don't know. I mean, the thing about their defensive players that makes them so good is that they're actually quite tremendous on offense as well, which is why they, to me, look so good. And so, them scoring that many points, I think that it's something not necessarily to expect, but the top end of their offensive efficiency to me is as good as any team in the league, and I'm looking forward to seeing that as much as I'm looking forward to seeing guys like Patrick Beverley shut people down all playoffs.
The bottom line in the playoffs is you got to win all kinds of ways, right? There are some days you go out there and you just got to lock everyone down and smother them. There are some days where it becomes a track meet and you got to be able to play both ways. So I think that is what we are starting to see from the Clippers. We still need to see more of that chemistry develop, more of them getting opportunistic, as you say, taking advantage of what's in front of them. They think they have a long runway. If you are a team that believes you have until mid-June to work out the kinks, March 1st does not feel like that big a deal. I'm just saying. Teams that do not have until mid-June are going to be maybe like, I don't know, the Washington Wizards. Bradley Beal had 34 last night. They did win over the Warriors. He has a franchise record 18 straight games with at least 25 points. Now, Beal was left off this season's All-Star roster. He was very upset about it. His fiancée was very upset about it. Recent scoring tear has folks wondering if it's still on his mind. Here's Scott Brooks last night talking about it.
Unfortunately, he didn't get picked. But the players voted him second. I mean, that says a lot. I mean, coaches, we think we know it all and we think we see it all, but the players know it. They know he's impossible to guard. He's one of the elite. Not bad. I mean, just can you imagine if he was an all-star, what he would be doing right now? joke.
Yeah, please applaud. Like, what? I don't get the joke there. He's been better since he got the snub.
Yeah.
Right.
That's okay. You know what I'm saying? And he's been talking about the playoffs and all this other stuff. This has been this lone storyline, by the way, in Washington about what the season is.
Well,
and
I
that's
mean,
nothing
look,
wrong with the fact
I don't
that
know
he's
what the
gotten better.
standings were this morning. They were in the number 9 spot. Now it was like the Gulf of Mexico between them and number 8, but still. I mean, it's not crazy for him to mention playoffs if you're number 9 and trying to keep yourself motivated.
I mean, sure, but as far as the long-term health of this team is concerned, making
Yeah.
the playoffs would not exactly be the best move. My point is this, though. It's okay to think that you're probably going to be closer to an All-NBA spot than you were to an All-Star spot because you just got better. There's nothing wrong with using an All-Star motivational snub an All-Star snub as motivation, and I actually am proud of him for actually doing it and putting it on the board. They're not winning that many games, but he's still putting up the points.
I also think that Brad signed a contract extension this year that took him off the trade market, right? It wasn't just an extension to get a lot of money. It was an extension where he declared, I'm sticking with the Wiz.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to be a foundational piece here. And when you make that commitment to a place, it's important that you play the whole rest of the season out. Because you know what? You're right. Long term, they might be better off if he sat, if he had to rest a sore whatever, okay? The rest of the year, and then they got a high draft pick, et cetera. But he made a commitment. This team needs to breed a winning culture there. And I think him stepping up and playing the way he is right now is evidence of that commitment.
Also, being the lone star in this team is part of what he signed that extension for, right? That he was in a position where he was sort of the 1A to John Wall's 1 for a lot of years in Washington. People kept considering him a great compliment to other big stars, but it's not like he was being talked about as being in that constellation of stars himself. He wasn't voted as an all-star, that sort of thing. And you could tell at the beginning of the season he was relishing the opportunity to see a clear runway and be the guy on a team. And that's okay, by the way. It's okay to want to do that. It's okay to show everyone, I can go out and drop 50 on consecutive nights. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.